First off, Colyn, congrats. A big accomplishment. You're number one at the helm, and your team is in the playoffs, and you're in the 8-9 matchup as well. So how big of a deal is it for your team and for you individually as a first-year head coach to be in the postseason?
Yeah, Sean, thanks for having me on, first off, and then, thanks for that. Also, I mean, it's awesome for the guys. This is something that they're talking about since I first got here. Even last year when they got snubbed, they felt like they got snubbed a year ago in the playoffs. They thought they should have been in and didn't get that opportunity. So to get this opportunity this year has been huge for these guys, and they're excited. We had a little bit of a watch party on Saturday. We watched our game from Woodland Hills and kind of transitioned that into watching the watch party to see who we were going to draw. So, but yeah, the 8-9 seed is huge as well because it gives us an opportunity. We could have easily been a 12 or 11 seed, but the committee thought we did enough to get a higher seed. So we're excited about that too.
So I'll talk about the Woodland Hills game momentarily, but I want to think back to what was maybe a defining victory for your season in terms of making the playoffs. 2-point win against Armstrong, 27-25, back on the 10th of October. When you think back to that game and how important it was, what did that mean in terms of your team ultimately getting to the postseason?
It was huge. I mean, it was the one game that we really needed, especially in the situation we were at, where we had already lost the Gateway earlier in the season. And at the time that we were playing Latrobe, we talked about it as every game we controlled our own destiny. We had the ability. If all we had to do was win games, and if we did that, we were going to control our destiny. And that was huge because it was a team that was on the bubble just like us. So for us to come out on top there, it allowed us to be on that side of the bubble.
So I'm sure there's some things from the last couple of weeks you want to clean up. You lost to Plum, non-conference, and then shut out against Woodland Hills, although you did keep it within 28. I know the Wolverines have put up mercy rule margins of victory in a lot of games this season. What did you see from the last couple of games that you'll have to clean up?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll start with special teams. Special teams has been a big part of the issues that we've been having in the last two games. Against Plum, we missed an extra point. We had one blocked, and those are things that cost you dearly, especially in close games. Because not only are they points, but they're also momentum. And if you don't seize momentum at certain times, you're going to allow the other team to get it. So we have to clean up special teams a lot. It's something that we're going to emphasize this week at practice. Really talk about it. Really try to clean up some of those things. Our defense is playing pretty well. I mean, that was a really good Woodland Hills offense, and we did a pretty good job for the most part. I think we got tired out towards the end of that game. But I thought our defense played extremely well. There's some things we want to clean up there as far as scheme and stuff, but all I can ask for those guys is to continue to play hard, continue to battle, and fly around, which is what they've been doing. And then, on the offensive side, it's just a matter of executing and making plays when they're there. We've had plays left out there. We've had a lot of opportunities to put the ball in the end zone. We just didn't do it. So we just got to execute better and be more focused in those crucial moments.
Avon Shirley's had a pretty special season playing a number of different roles for you. He's played multiple games at quarterback. He's been an electric receiver. I know he's instrumental on your defense and special teams as well. And I would imagine because he is a senior on a group that has a lot of underclassmen, he's also a guy that a lot of the younger players look up to. So how much of an impact has he made all season?
Yeah, you see the impact he makes just by the way defenses have to game plan for him. The last couple of weeks, they had certain people that had to make sure that he wasn't the guy that was going to beat them, and they did a good job doing that. So, as far as an impact in that world, you see it in that capacity. Now, as far as an impact on the team, I mean, we've got a really, really young group behind us, and he's done a great job of getting them ready and just teaching them how to practice and the right way to do things like that, as well as just his attitude every single day we step on the field. Like, his attitude has been great. He's a positive kid. He's a kid that we are constantly using as examples for the younger guys.
So you mentioned potentially a very winnable matchup in the first round. You get the 9 seed, Shaler Area the 8 seed, so the game's at Shaler. How did that seeding and the matchup align with what maybe you had expected going into Saturday afternoon?
You know, I don't like to live in that world like that. Like Friday night after our game, I wasn't sitting there trying to figure this whole thing out, because at the end of the day, you never can guarantee what that's going to look like. But we had some coaches that were trying to figure it out. Like they were sitting on the board and they were trying to rank everybody and see who we were going to get, and you know, that was a fun thing to see. You know, we're glad we got the draw we did. Again, we're glad to get anybody playing playoff football. It's an opportunity that not many people get. So whoever we draw, we were going to be ready. We were going to be excited for. You know, we're going to be ready to play when we come Friday night.
And Shaler's an interesting story as well, because there's no doubt that it's been at times a rough season for the Titans. And yet, I believe heading into their final game, if they would have pulled off the upset of all upsets and knocked off Pine Richland, they actually would have been the conference champion. So when you look at the Titans, how do you evaluate their up and down season, and what challenges do they present?
I think they've played some really good competition, you know, so their record is what it is, but their schedule, the teams that they've played some really tough competition. So, you know, they're a team that they're very, very similar to us as far as size wise, you know, so that's a good matchup for us in that world. Offensively, they're dynamic. They do a lot of different things, so we're gonna have to be prepared on the defensive side to kind of attack them in all different aspects. So, you know, and then their defense gives problems because they bring guys, they move around a lot. They're never stationary. They're always moving. So offensive line wise, we're young. So we're just going to have to play with our eyes up and make sure that we simplify it as much as we can so that we're not out of position. But I like the matchup. I think it's a really quality matchup, a really good team we're playing, and I'm excited for it. So I think our guys are too.
Colyn, we're excited that the Cavaliers are in the playoffs once again. Thanks so much for doing this. Congrats on making the postseason, and good luck against Shaler.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.